I have interviewed my friend, Sandy Gable, and she is going to talk all about books that are important to her. So stay tuned. Hey, hi, welcome to Sharon Palmer Books. I'm Sharon Palmer, your host, and I have a special guest with me today. Her name is Sandy Gable, and I am so excited that she is here because we have been friends for like 5 ever, or 3 times 5 ever. I don't know. It's been about 15 years. We met at a NaNoWriMo write-in here in our town in Cedar City. We got to be good friends just from the time we spent ignoring each other while we wrote. Did we really ignore each other, though? I think we did quite a bit of talking, too. Yeah, we've had to, but yeah. But to give you a little bit more about her, she was born in a little town in northeast Utah. She's the youngest of 4 kids, and over the years, she's developed a love for books, puzzles, TV shows, and nativity sets. A tradition in her house is to watch as many Hallmark movies, there we go, throughout the year. I did ask her about that, and she said, yes, that includes the Christmas in July movies. She's been dubbed as the favorite aunt by her nieces and nephews. She wants to retain that title throughout her entire life, which I think has a good chance of that happening. She is the owner of various small business. She enjoys writing, playing board games, and video games with her family. And she lives here in Cedar City with her husband and her son, who, when I met her, was just a little guy, and now he is like 14 feet tall. And he's old. He's just adorable, and I love him. He's just so cool. So we're here talking with Sandy about her reading experiences and asking her some questions about those reading experiences. And so I'm really excited to get this going. And we're going to start with a question. What is a book that really impacted you?
Okay. Well, I like visual aids, so I brought along some. So this one is called Ariana, The Making of a Queen. It's by Rachel Ann Nunesh, and she actually puts the pronunciation in her author bio. So I'm not just like making that up. My grandma on my mom's side, she gave this to me when I was 15. And you know when you're 15, you're like, what is this? I don't know, Grandma. Are you sure? And so I'm like, all right, I'll give it a chance. So I read it on the way home from Utah to California. I just fell in love with the writing, with the characters, and so yeah, this one impacted me, and this is the author that got me into writing as well. So super impactful.
That is so cool that your grandma was the one who gave you a book that impacted you the most. That is so cool to get something like that from your grandma.
I know, and it was like, how did she know I was gonna like this particular book? Because at the time, like before that, I was reading like Nancy Drew and Encyclopedia Brown, so like all these little mystery stuff. And so this was kind of my first foray into the clean romance from LDS authors, and so after that, I was like, I must consume all of these books. So yeah.
Oh, that is so great. And what a great memory to share with your grandma. I hope you told her.
I don't think I did. And she passed in 2016, so she knows now.
Yeah, she knows now. Yeah, she knows now what an influence she was on her life. So your next question was about your preferred environments for reading. Tell us about your preferred environments for reading.
Okay, so before I tell you where I prefer, let me tell you all the places I have read.
Oh, nice.
So the Ariana book I read in the car. In the back seat, I just was devouring that thing on the drive home. I read in the car. I mean, uncomfortably, but I read in there. I read on a couch, in bed, in a recliner chair, in a rocking chair, just anywhere I could kind of get comfortable and just crack that book open and devour the pages. But I think my favorite is in bed because I can like roll over and just kind of rest it on the bed. And then I can roll over to the other side.
Oh.
And then if my hands get tired, from holding it like this, especially like when you get into like Harry Potter or like the work of the
big heavy things.
books, yeah, you gotta have a little place to put them as you're reading. Oh, I also read at my desk at school, so definitely didn't like the hunched over, nobody read what I'm reading look. That was probably my least preferred. But
it's more like, don't notice me.
yeah.
I know I'm not paying attention to you, but I'm at an exciting place in my book. I really need to finish.
Right. You're like right at the end, and you're just like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen next? Don't bite me.
Please don't take my book away yet, please.
Yeah. Ding, the bell rang.
Yeah, that was another one. Yes. All right. So your preferred is in bed. Sleeping. Yeah. You're not sleeping because you're not sleeping. You're reading.
Right. Yeah. Oh, my second favorite would probably be in a recliner chair because you can just kind of recline back and have it resting on your lap, which is also a good way to read like a Kindle or something. But there's that.
Yeah. Did you ever read Walking Down the Street?
I don't recall that title.
Okay. Because when I was a kid, that was the only place I read.
Huh.
Was Walking Down the Street because, well, anyway, that's a whole different video. In fact, you are going to get that video, my viewers. I'm going to make a video on my 10 favorite places to read because, honestly, to be honest, my favorite place to read is wherever I am when I'm reading because I'm reading.
I don't walk in a straight line. So if I have my head down, I actually will stop. So reading and walking is not, don't mix. I'd be that kid who was reading a text and run into a door. So,
I can't tell you how many light poles that I ran into on accident and cars that are parked in driveways. And I tripped over a cat once, I think, but we can talk about that in a different video. This is your video. Okay, so you would like to curl up in your bed under a blanket with your pillow and your book. What do you look for in a book that you want to curl up in bed with?
Well, I had to find the funnest book in my collection to show you what I look for in books. So this book is called How to Stuff a Wild Zucchini. The thing that I look for the most is the title. Is it catchy? Is it going to catch my attention? Is it going to spur me to read the back cover or the description on Amazon? So I'm going to read a little bit of the description so you can kind of see why I read this book. Sophisticated New York playwright Laurie Scott feels like a failure when her producer boyfriend calls it quits on both their relationship and her first play. On a dare, she throws a dart at a map and ends up moving to Brigham City, Utah, planning to set aside her writing, religion, and men, and focusing instead on substituting as the garden guru for the local paper. But fate has something else in mind when she accidentally sets her rented house on fire. Laurie has no idea of the sparks that lie ahead. Will she be able to resist the charms, persistence, and testimony of local firefighting hero John Wayne Walker? Who wouldn't want to read about John Wayne Walker? Or will she turn her back on the best thing that's ever happened to her because of old hurts and fears? Sign me up. I'm ready. And it's an amazing book. I loved it when I read it. I haven't read it in a while. Okay. Maybe I should.
I need to write this down. How to Stuff a Wild Zucchini?
Yes, by Heather Horrocks.
Like Koroks, only Horrocks.
Yes.
What a last
Horrocks.
Sounds like it'd be a great name for a character.
That's kind of what I look for.
So,
The title,
so
characters.
okay, the title,
the characters, and then if I read the first page, is it gonna hook me in? Like, because if you can't hook me in the first like couple pages, I'm gonna just put it down and find something else. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Good to know.
But yeah.
All righty, let's move on. Have you ever reread a book? And if so, what made you reread it?
Well, I reread a lot of the books in my collection for a variety of reasons. One, I don't have any money to go and buy more books, so I'm like, well, I'll just reread this one until my next paycheck or whatever. Another is maybe I want to get some inspiration for a book that I'm writing myself. So it's the same genre, so I'll just kind of pick it up and skim through it. And another reason is I just want to reconnect with the characters and see why I liked the book in the first place. Is this book still bringing me joy?
Oh, it's one of those questions.
Yeah.
Just bring me joy.
Yeah.
Yes, I will keep it forever and cherish it. And
right. But there's one. Yeah, but there's one book that I think I've reread the most out of all of the ones, and it's called By Love and Grace, and it's by Anita Stansfield, and she's just amazing at bringing out the characters and everything into life. So this one, it's about a convert to the church.
For the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, for my worldwide audience.
Yes. So he's a convert to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and his family has ostracized him, and he's from Chicago, so he moves to Utah since his family has basically disowned him. So he comes out to Utah to go to BYU, and he meets a girl in one of his classes, and he's like, I'm going to ask her out because I just feel like this connection. And they go on one date, and she actually is dating a couple other guys, and one of them actually assaults her. And yeah, so it's a heavy storyline. But the main male character, he rises to the occasion, and like the love he ends up having for her is just profound and amazing. And he's like, I have to protect you from what's to come. So like, let's get married. And like all these things happen in their favor. Like everything kind of falls into place for them. And when they get married, they're in a certain congregation. And then once she has the baby, they actually move like right away. So they don't have to explain that she's given the baby up for adoption. And so like all these like tender mercies happen. And it's just amazing how this like one little thing that happened, it changed their plans. Like they wanted to continue dating. And, you know, after that first date, it just kind of accelerated things. Impacted me a little bit because like, well, I was a single mom for most of my son's life. And so it's like, I don't want a guy that's going to take that against me. There are guys out there that aren't going to take your past against you. So I really enjoyed how it was written, how it was laid out, like the character growth that everybody had. And I reread it to connect with that again and again.
That was pretty great. That's the only comment I can think of. It sounds like a really intensely emotional book.
It is. And Anita Stansfield does that in like all of her books. Like she just is like, oh, you want clean cut characters and with like no flaws? No, they're all gonna have flaws. They're all gonna have trials. They're all gonna be like super major trials in their life. And this is how they handled them. Sometimes they handled them well. Sometimes they did not handle them well. So
very human, and
very human. And that's, I think, what kind of pulls people into this kind of book is that it's human. I don't want to say drama, but it's human drama because everyday life is human drama. Like, you can't get away from drama.
Unfortunately, you
I know,
try.
unfortunately. You don't
By
want...
reading, you read. It's amazing. You try to get away from your own drama by reading about somebody else's.
Right, yeah, exactly. It always was funny when I was on, like, dating sites and the guys were like, no, I don't want women that have drama. And it's like, you want somebody, like, so boring that they, like, don't even leave the house? Like, is that what you want? So I'm like, any little story that you have about your husband, about your kid, like, that is the drama in your life. I kind of am drawn to that. I don't like participating in it, but I'm drawn to the dramatic things.
Yeah, I'm drawn to anything funny, but
Yeah.
sometimes drama can be funny.
Yes. Yes, it can.
We've come to the time in the podcast where the reader gets to ask the host a question.
Okay.
What question do you have for me, Miss Sandy?
Well, let me look at my notes. Okay, so what would you say to someone who isn't a reader to encourage them to try it?
This is actually a multi-part answer, which I might answer in a future video as well. As a speech language pathologist, reading is actually part of my job. And basically reading, especially reading comprehension. So what do you say to someone who is not a reader to help them want to be a reader? It depends on their age. Mm-hmm. If we're talking kids, the best way to encourage a kid to read is to read in front of them. Mm-hmm. You read your own stuff, make them curious about what you're doing, and you might even, depending on the book, of course, read them part of your book. Yeah. And then just encourage them. I mean, you never force anyone to read because they'll end up hating it. Yeah. You just, it's more by example for kids, especially. Mm-hmm. If it's an adult, there's a reason why they don't read. Sometimes it's because their reading comprehension, reading words, is really difficult for them. Mm-hmm. They barely made it through school, and it was torturous. So, as an adult, I would say, pull out those audiobooks. Audiobooks still count as reading. Yep. And I would and suggest things to them and discuss books with them and that sort of thing. And some people, they just their interests are more academic. Mm-hmm. In that they really would rather read a nonfiction book. Encourage them to get those nonfiction books on audiobook, or do a buddy read with them or something like that. Start a book club.
That's right.
But that's what I would do if I were to try to encourage. But audiobooks are wonderful for people who feel like they don't have the time, feel like they don't have the skills. The audiobooks are just great all the way around. Everyone should have an audiobook. I have an audiobook right now that I have had for 2 years from the library, Pride and Prejudice. That's the one that I will read over and over and over and over again.
Maybe that's the only way I'll be able to get through that book. So maybe I should
to listen to it. Oh, the language is so beautiful. We could talk forever about Pride and Prejudice. The language is so beautiful, and the narrator that reads the book that I have is just wonderful. And it's just so nice. Another book that I like to listen to, mm-hmm. The Hobbit. Oh my gosh, that's an amazing book to listen to. All right. Well, maybe I'll have to do a video on audiobooks too.
Yeah.
My favorite audiobooks. All right. Any more questions for me?
I don't have any that are book related.
Any that you want to do on video?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just hang out after we hang up and you can ask. Yeah. This is my friend Sandy Gable. She's amazing. She's also an author. I will have her back on this channel as an author so she can talk about her books a little bit more. But in the meantime, if you want to look up H. Steele, and I'll put a little thing across the bottom here, or Eden Larsen. Not Edith Larsen, but Eden Larsen. Those are her pen names, and she's got some really great books there.
Yes.
My favorite of hers so far that I have read is Never Sent. And those, oh, yes. Oh, just makes you want to. It's a great book. Great book. But anyway, all right. So our time is up then. And thank you, Sandy, for being here with us today. It was so much fun. And I hope you guys at home had a great time getting to know Sandy too. She's a marvelous person and one of my very bestest of friends. We will see you guys next time.